more try. And I think that is good to go. All right, my friends, if I hit all the right buttons, we are live again for another episode of Talk Power BI. Hey, Friday, what can I say? Thank God it's Friday, right? So, hey, if you're joining us online, hey, if you haven't subscribed, if you're just discovering this video, then make sure to subscribe. That way you're notified whenever we go live to talk about Power BI, answer your Power BI questions. But otherwise, welcome here. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead and let me know where you are watching us from. So say hello and tell me where you're based out of. So I'm in the backyard of Microsoft. I'm based out of Seattle. And yeah, worked here, of course, for many years in Microsoft, and then, well, left that to spread the Power BI message far and wide. So yeah, tell me where you are watching us from, and tell me maybe a bit about yourselves. And we're gonna get to you in just a second. I'm gonna say hi to our Learn Power BI members who are joining us on the phone. So of course we have Steve, our moderator, always there, always good to have you, Steve. And we have Sherry and Rick. Rick, Sherry, hello. How are you two doing? Okay. No news is good news. Let's just go with that. But hey, feel free to chime in anytime during this call. So let's see. Let's check in on YouTube. And I'm seeing a lot of hellos. Tom was here first, my friends. Says hello
Thank
from
you.
Midwest US. Brian Mullins says hello from Beaverton, Oregon. Good to have you guys here. Brian Mullins has a question. Okay, we'll get to the questions in a second. Any books you would recommend? Absolutely. Chris Hall, Cincinnati, Ohio. Hello, Chris. Tom Folds, thank God it's Power BI. I like that. Tom is there from my laptop. Okay. Hello from Cleveland, Ohio. Yay. Woot. I've been there, of course. That was almost the start of my Power BI journey. So when I really started was within Microsoft. I was working there, and the first edition of Power BI, the same lineage, the same family tree, was Gemini, the project Gemini, which became Power Pivot, which is an integral part of Power BI right now. So yes, that was my first step. But Cleveland, Ohio, of course, I went there to attend Rob Colley's class, and oh gosh, yeah, that was pretty epic. Mike says hello from Indiana. Soji says hello. Steve is here from San Antonio. Awesome. Ansgar is here from Microsoft. Oh my gosh, from the lair of the beast. No, just kidding. That's awesome. That's great. And Soji says hello from Nigeria. So all right, folks. So good to have all of you here. Let's kick it off. So for one, maybe let's start with some few quick announcements. So I don't know where to start. Maybe let's start by saying thank you. Now, thank you to, of course, all of you, but I specifically wanted to thank my team. And right now, so the folks on my team are Chris and Pranav, but there have been many before that as well. And the thanks goes to all of them because they have been instrumental in making all of this possible. So we call ourselves Team Avi, and one of our team members had dubbed us Team Awesome. I like all of those names, and my joke in Team Avi is that, hey, the team comes before Avi, right? So I'm not as important. I want to kind of reduce my size and impact there, and it is about the team. So there's one quote that I really love, and I'll share that with you. If you've hung out with me, you've probably heard this before, but hey, it's always good to hear this one again, which is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. All right, and I feel so proud of myself. I sometimes bungle it up, but I think I said it right. So yeah, I couldn't have done it without these people supporting me, and of course, all of your support, and that's what keeps this whole going. It's about the community. All right, cool. So on that regard, you might have noticed that we made some changes which should have improved the quality of the broadcast. It is going to introduce some buffering, so some delay, but overall quality should be much better. At least that's what I've heard as well from the feedback. But also talking with the team and getting all the feedback, what we are focusing on now is to really. So for one, we've had events where we kind of bring you special topics, right? So we would have like a guest expert, industry expert, or somebody just sharing their Power BI story, and all of those, each of those are so powerful. Or we've had panel discussions. I truly enjoyed those, and I was kind of surprised, pleasantly surprised, when all of you folks joined as well for us for those, and got value out of it. So we will do that a little more consistently. And again, if you've heard me before, I'm trying to reduce the size of my impact. It shouldn't be about me. So I want to hear more voices here. And of course, one of the key voices there I should also be thanking is Steve Ross. And I've had him, of course, and he steps in so many ways, always brings in interesting questions, and of course moderates the chat and so forth. So we'll do more of this. And underlying idea is bring in more voices. Why should it be just about me? Power BI isn't really about me. So Talk Power BI shouldn't be either. But when we do this, what we call the Q&A sessions, right? So like one today. So we'll do fewer of those, and we'll do special topics. And of course, I'll stay on for questions as well. But when we do Q&A, then next thing we're working on is streamlining the pre-submit process. We have something in mind. And again, everything that we do is going to be a beta. So we're going to test it. In my head, it sounds really cool, because the idea is that you're able to pre-submit questions properly, really. Right now, it's like, it doesn't really work, frankly. So we'll take care of that, but then we want to put it so that you can pre-submit questions, you can look at what questions have been submitted, so you have an idea of what's going to be talked about, and not just that, you can vote on things. We'll see if it works. So you can say, oh, I want to hear that one, and we'll see. So again, just a beta experiment, but we're going to keep improving. And I always say this to my team and myself as well, that when my students and followers, I would say to you too, imagine if you got better every single day. Oh my gosh, where are you going to be a year from now? It's going to be epic, right? And if you do that, if that's how you live your life, success is inevitable. Right? All right, cool. So, and of course, the big announcement, Friday, May 3rd, is that just next week? That is next week. That is the real Power BI final project presentations. For those who don't know what real Power BI is, it's a really simple concept. We bring in business users, have them submit Power BI projects, and we work on them in a class setting. And that's it, simple, right? So business users get their Power BI project done. These Power BI amazing Power BI folks inside our Learn Power BI program, and these folks get a lot of awesome real world experience, and by that I mean really going back and forth with the client, because in a way that's where the value is. You can go ahead, download like public data sets and AdventureWorks, Contoso, or whatever, the UN population metrics, and it's just not the same experience. So they have been working on this for a while, and they're going to just come in and talk about their experiences. Now, for some cases, you might see dashboards, desktops, whatever they built. In some cases, you might hear that, we couldn't really take off, and these are the challenges that happened. Whatever. What I've told them is that to stay true to this word, didn't want to do that. The real word. Let's just be real. Whatever your experience was, let's go ahead and share that. So I'm looking forward to that. Cool. That's it. Let's see. So the protocol we follow here is, for now, we'll see if it changes with pre-submit questions. So we first go to the phone, see if I have any questions there. Then we pick up a question from the YouTube chat, and we even if you hang on. If you've joined me before, then you know this, that we also open the lines for the folks on YouTube. So let me do a quick glance at the chat window again. And I got Soji. Go Boilers. Hi from, Spotin. Well, hi from Munich, Germany. Guten Tag. All right. Okay, Tom is responding to them. And Mezabine is saying hi from Kolkata, India. Awesome. Well, I'm from Delhi myself. And actually, my sister-in-law is from Kolkata. I've been there, I think, only as a kid. I do want to go back to that city. Ansgar says, does everyone in the team wear bow ties? Oh, that's hilarious. So, you're so funny. So, hey, a shout out to another awesome channel. Not that they need a shout out. You probably know about these guys. Guy in a Cube. They're awesome. but it was yeah. First, just just one, and they grew, and I joked with them when I met them that, hey, is it a requirement that you shave your head? So is that what I need to do to join Guy in a Cube? So for now, I have not enforced the bow tie rule. I might have to. I like that idea. All right, cool. Australia, Ruben, 2:07 a.m. right now. Oh my gosh, I feel like if you have a question, my friend, we'll jump you right at the top of the list. Anybody who's getting up at 2 a.m. to hear me talk, I want to talk to you. Prashant says, hi, was wondering, okay, I have a question to video on unpivot. Yeah, unpivot should be really straightforward. That should be covered in my basic tutorial. So if you go to, so again, folks, thanks to oh my gosh, no way. I hadn't even noticed they feature my channel. I feel
Hey,
honored.
Avi.
Yeah, hey Steve. Yeah, what's up? I, oh,
Hey,
yeah, go ahead.
Steve, this is Rick. I think it's you. I hear you, but I don't hear him at all.
Oh,
me
really?
neither.
Uh
I'm
oh.
hearing through YouTube.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Wait, guys. So let's switchy. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Oh wait.
But
Let's see if can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you
Yeah.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. All right. All right, tech trouble. Okay, awesome. So let me finish my thoughts. So folks, who asked the unpivot question? That should be covered in my basic tutorial, and all the good stuff on my channel, if you're getting started, is right up top. And that again is thanks to my team. They combed through the stuff and found out all the stuff that was popular, and obviously if it's popular, that means it's useful, and they put it right up top. So go through this. That one does cover unpivot. If you have a specific problem, and that can happen, like, oh, I'm trying to do this, and I understand on pivot, but I'm trying to do this and it doesn't work, then we're going to look at that as well. Hi from Jordan. Hello, my friend. Hello, Muhammad. Hector says, oh gosh, yeah, R connectivity, awesome, great. Yep, there's so many aspects of Power BI that blows me away. Of course, many which I haven't at all explored even, but I love that. Of course, I have found kind of my focus, modeling. Talk to me about DAX. Talk to me about the query editor, the kitchen of Power BI, and R. I'm glad there are people out there doing R stuff, and that's a possibility when I need it. Cool. So let's go to the phone, and I saw something pop up in the chat over there. I don't know if it was with the audio. Is there a question on the phone? You guys get to go first. Okay, I see a lot of messages about the audio not working. Okay. All right. So wait. Can I get a shout out from somebody saying at least my audio is working, right? You guys can hear me on the
Yeah.
phone? Okay. Awesome. Okay.
Audio sounds good.
Okay. Perfect. Great. Okay. So I'm gonna switch to YouTube, folks. But at any time, if you have any questions, just speak up. All right. So let's see. I'm not sure. Uh, uh, Steve, did you see something scroll earlier which seemed we can cover? Maybe you start with Brian's question. Okay,
Yeah, I'm looking over.
let me make
There's a lot.
who asked about unpivot? I spoke to that a little bit.
Let me go to the top here.
Oh yeah, Prashant. Oh man, if you can do the opposite using DAX. So Prashant is asking that question. First of all, Prashant, I want to question your intentions. Why are you trying to do this in DAX? I mean, the query editor is the kitchen of Power BI. Okay, I'm going to assume you have some scenario there. But let's go back to Brian's question. Maybe we'll kick that off. And folks, yeah, if you have questions, usually it works best if you wait for when I kind of ask for it, and then you type it right there. That way I wouldn't scroll back. I'll just pick it right up. But let's see. So we are at 9:14. I'm an analyst that writes lots of SQL, trying to wrap my head around the difference between database design normalization and the kind of data modeling that works well for Power BI. That's a good question. Power BI modeling versus SQL DB design. Let me open up a model. Okay. So I wouldn't call myself a SQL guy, but I knew enough SQL to be dangerous. And life of a business analyst, you're like the Swiss Army knife. I was ready to learn anything and everything that would just let me get to where I wanted to go. Now, of course, now I realize that well, with Power BI, that's pretty much my hammer. So one of my teammates was comparing it to the Thor hammer, which is Mjolnir. I'm not really sure if I'm saying it right, but I found that so hilarious. I'm like, yeah, that's a good comparison. So yep, it's the hammer. So I'm happy now. So let's say so SQL. Usually the database design, they talk about the normal forms and third normal form. That does not work in Power BI. Power BI is more about data modeling. So I would recommend these videos, Power BI data modeling best practices.
If you go on Amazon.com and search for Power BI,
Oops.
you would find my
right.
book in that
Yeah.
list.
Oh, wow, it keeps playing even if you navigate off the page. So modeling, check that out. So that's gonna set you straight. No, it's. I think it's good, and I'll tell you why I think it's good. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is mind blowing. So Power BI data modeling, the way I learned it from the data warehouse Kimball book. I'm not sure I would really recommend it. I generally don't recommend this to business users because this is heavy reading. And the other reason that I don't recommend this book is that I've never read it. so the story goes that Gregory Weber, this amazing guy, I think he's still within Microsoft, and this guy is so amazing. He designs, he builds robots as like a hobby part time. Like, yeah, I go home and I built a robot for my kid, and a robot, and then he would have these stories about how his kids started trying to ride the robot, and then it broke and all of that. Now he's trying now, and so this conversation he was next trying to make them more robust so their kids can actually ride the robot. So so really smart guy. And I was lucky to meet him, and he had started a book club about this this book, Data Warehouse by Kimball. And everybody would show up, and Greg would be like, "Did you read the book?" And we're like, "No." And did you read the chapter? We were supposed to go chapter by chapter. So Greg would just, he would just sigh and then just teach us the chapter. So that's how I learned, and we only got halfway through the book. But I did have a really good teacher. I don't know how far I would have gone if I was just reading it. I think now I can kind of read it, but earlier, so again, of SQL, you might be okay, but I'm talking more from like a business analyst, that persona. I think at that time, clearly there was a reason why we were showing up at the book club without reading the chapter, because it was just, yeah. So I learned from the best, and I went halfway through the book, but I still feel that has been my edge ever since. So again, I move more in the circles of people working on the business side, and folks, that's where the real power is, right? Not, I don't know. I'm just gonna say it. Not if you're stuck in IT, in the back end. If you're in IT, you don't have to leave IT, but I think the role of IT is gonna change where you become more business focused. So cool. So again, even with that half the book of information, man, I felt I was head and shoulders above the rest. I mean, I would look at what they're doing and I'm like, no, you don't. And I know you don't do it that way. So that's that. But again, you don't have to even go read the book. This one encapsulates the link that I shared. Does kind of the high level. And of course, inside my Learn Power BI course, we elaborate and expound on all the concepts in there, right? So the modeling is right now almost woven into the course. I'm also planning to re-record, frankly, some of these based on what I have learned since and so forth, and make that part of the course. So let's come back here, and let's just. I'm just gonna say maybe just one thing. Let's see. So instead of third normal form, usually what you use is star schema. Now, I do not use that term. And here in this, you would see dimension and fact table. I don't use that term either. And again, I understood it more from a business analyst perspective. So I call them data and lookup tables. And the lookup tables are the who, what, where, when, how. Who, what, where, when, how. And again, the link that I sent does cover that. And of course, in course, I talk more about that. So, okay, finally, this one happened. And this layout is so powerful. And by the way, if you're not, at least if you're my student, if you follow me, right? And if you don't arrange your tables this way, I really don't know you. You know, yeah. So when I jump on a call where I'm solving somebody's problems, it could be a client, could be a student. This is the first thing that I do. I look at the relationship view, and if they're not my student, they get a pass. It doesn't have to be arranged this way, but then I grab keyboard and mouse control and arrange it in this way, specific way. So data tables at the bottom, lookup tables at the top, and so right, it's just default by now. And yeah, so you should be arranging it too. And my videos go into more detail, both inside the course and in that as well, as to why that is important. I wouldn't go into that now, but I think that's frankly, that's like it seems like silly, but that, you know, I'm always surprised how many problems I've solved just by simply arranging the table. So they would come to me like, oh, Avi, this thing is not working, and they've like bashed their heads against it for so long, like, oh, it's not working, it's not working. And I'm like, okay, take a deep breath. Okay, so I arrange the table, and then what this layout does is it really helps you understand the model, understand the structure, and then almost sometimes when I arrange it, and then I say, oh, okay, I see you're using a field from this table, and then doing a calculation here, and then you have a filter on here. And they see it right away. At least if they've been through my course and all that, then they say, "Oh yeah, I got it." And, yeah, we're good, we're done. So so arranging the table is very important. All right, cool. So hopefully that helped. Let me circle back to our friends on the phone, and maybe some new folks join as well. So folks on the phone, if you have any question, just unmute yourself, speak up, throw it at me, and hey, I'll do the best that I can. Meanwhile, I'll just scan through some of the comments. Okay, Gene says hi. Hector is pulling in PDF tables. Power BI is able to pull in PDF tables. Yeah, I know how to read it one by one. All of them in one time. Well, okay, that's a good one. Kimball, people talking about that. Which one? Oh, he has several books. The Data Warehouse. Yeah, you know, let me Google that. I think Data Warehouse Design. That's the name that I remember. Book. Let me look for that. I remember the cover of the book, which we never opened. All right, let's see. So Steve, I saw Hector's question, which could be interesting. Did anything else catch your eye?
Let's see. Yeah, no, I think the PDF is an interesting
Yeah.
exercise. I've fooled with that a little bit. It's
Okay, so
yeah, and it's out of beta now, so that might be even better.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'd like to see the actual files and scenario and get a better idea.
Okay, so it is the Data Warehouse Toolkit. Now I don't remember the edition which I read, but if it says Data Warehouse, a Lifecycle Toolkit, I don't know. Data Warehouse Toolkit. I think this is the one. This seems right. Okay, so let's. So hey, Prashant, you're still on. I see you. Good to have you on. Maybe tell me a little bit more. We may even have you call in, and I might even need an assist here if you really want to do in DAX. What I'm curious is, what's the scenario? Are you using it as an interim step for a calculation? For an interim step, you need to unpivot it. I'm really curious right now. Okay, so oh wow, So I know there's a bit of a lag from when I ask a question to when the YouTube audience sees it. So Steve, yeah, just help me keep an eye on that. So let's stay with Hector's question. How do I do this? Okay, got it. Oh, it did work. So we're gonna say 925. Multiple PDF files. 2 PDF file with tabular tables. Are these public files? If I go to this link, would I see them? I'm gonna check. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
I went to the link and I downloaded them. They're
Okay. Yeah, it does look like random data. Okay, cool. So in my mind, this shouldn't be different than now. Of course, I don't think you can do like something like files from a folder, but this shouldn't be any different than just connecting to 4 different files and combining it. Steve, am I missing something? Is there something that Hector said which would indicate that maybe he has a different problem?
well. Let's see. He says read all 4. I haven't opened them to see if they're the same structure, but
Yeah. Okay, let's. Yeah, I
I
think
see
it's
it.
just
I
simple.
would think this is very doable.
Yeah, I think it's just a simple append. So Hector, I mean, I'll try to step through it. Maybe it'll help others too. But if you already know, like, oh gosh, yeah, now I get it. I'm supposed to append. I got it. Then we'll move on to a different question. While that's coming up, yeah. So Brian, the way the chat plays is in the replay is it's kind of real time. So if you click to the end of the video, you would see the whole chat. Yeah, that's YouTube. I'm not sure I've done that one in my file. Oh, looks like. Oh, okay. Hector had leave. Okay, we might bump him down then. More. Okay, so folks, what I would say is this would be simply, connecting to the file and appending. So we may circle back to this. Steve, did you see anything else?
Let's see. No. I'm scanning.
Okay.
Well, there's somebody's got a question about Mark has a question about a card in Power BI.
Okay.
Looks like it's changing color based on the value, like
Yeah, we can check that out.
conditionally color that the if red is bad, green is good.
All right, nice.
Mark
We'll see that.
marks that. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, I see it. Yep. So I'm thinking either a custom visual. I mean, I would of course look first at to see if we can do it with this with the stock visual. Power BI card. Change color. If not that, then maybe custom visual. All right, let's go to the famous AdventureWorks, and let's go over here. So what I'm going to do is selection pane, and where's the shape? Shape right there. I'm going to hide that one. So let's say we're focused on this variance and we want to color this based on something. And maybe I can give us some room here. So guys, we're focused on this. Ooh, nice. Variance right there. What about this option? So the stock one does it have a background? It does, but you can't, you can only hard code it, so that's not useful. Let's try this one. So we have variance, target, goals. Ooh. Let's try to do something there. Alright, so let's just say target equals 0. And what if we add it there? And then we add the trend axis. Ooh, okay, so we didn't get the background as such, but we can get the text colored. So that's the best I can seem to manage with this visual. Let me just check if it has any background. So folks, by the way, if you've seen Tableau, pretty much anything in there can also be a function. So I feel the direction Microsoft is moving in the similar direction, because just the way I remember seeing it in Tableau, and haven't used Tableau in a while, was that pretty much everything you could make it a function. So where it says color, you can say, oh no, I don't. Oh my God, this is, yeah. Look at this. Look at this. So here, this is what I'm seeing, where you can go to something, and again, this really reminded me of how Tableau does it, where it says, no, I don't want to use static value, I want to use a function. And of course, that gives you then full, complete flexibility in how to do this. So you can notice that here already that this is a function, and I don't really know what it's going to look like for this one. Oh, there we go. I didn't really expect that. I guess it's a color scale. Okay, so yeah, I had used that here. So here, notice this graph, the variance is a color function, but in cards, it's using the same thing. So anyway, long story short, clearly it's not, the background isn't available there as a function, but what I'm saying is that I think this is going to become the standard, that the coloring is going to, or pretty much even other values may just allow you to do a function. Steve, were you going to say something? All right, cool. So
No, I'm good.
okay. So we couldn't do the background. So for that, I would say check out custom visuals. I didn't see anything in stock here which can do it, unless somehow you can hack it with a table of a single value. That would be another option that could be worth exploring. So we're gonna just write some notes here. So we'll say, so the KPI visual, I think that's what it's called. Let me just double check. This one was KPI. Yep. So KPI visual can color the text. Also, this would be a hack, but maybe you can do that with a table of a single value. You can color the table field. So you can go here and I'm trying to remember, conditional formatting, is that? No, that's not it. Is it data colors? Oh gosh. How, I think it's you go here and then you say conditional formatting here. So background, font, yeah, so that's what I would look for. Ooh, that's actually nice. I'll keep a screenshot of that. I'm actually really liking that option. Or the third one that I would mention is look out for custom visuals. All right, nice. All right, so Prashant. Prashant, I'm just trying to. Yes, the table is one. Okay, so Prashant was originally asking about, I think, unpivot in DAX, not in the query editor. uh, or the opposite one pivot. I'm not sure, but let's see what he's saying. Table in one column, order number, multiple rows with same order number. Second column product, third column quantity, unpivot to label as header. I don't know. The feel that I'm getting, Prashant, is that it seems like a query editor. It seems like it's a clean shape transform. I mean, that stuff should still be in the kitchen of Power BI. Maybe I have a sample file. I would love to take a shot at that. All right. Jules says hello from France. All right. Whippin. All right. So, Steve, maybe you guide me. What seems interesting to you?
Well, to me, I like that PDF question.
Okay. So
That's
it
just
wasn't clear.
just me.
Hector, I think is back, right?
He may have gone, or I don't know if he's coming
Okay.
back.
Yeah. But I saw comments after that. Okay. Let's just
Yeah,
try it. And hey,
I,
folks. Yeah, you're gonna.
while sitting here, I kind of was looking at it,
Yeah.
and I wasn't able to really complete
Okay.
it as we were. I was trying to keep an eye on the chat, but I couldn't help
Yeah.
myself.
Cool. Hey, if you want to lead, we
Yeah,
can have you share your screen.
well,
That would save us
well,
some time.
we can try it. I don't
Awesome.
know. I mean, this is work in progress, of course, but
That's okay. Okay.
uh,
Let me switch screens with you. All right. Go ahead and present when you're ready.
all right. I'm trying.
Yeah, it's all right.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, got it. So we're looking at the GoToMeeting window right now. And perfect. We see. So you just.
I'll show you what I did here. So I have a folder where I downloaded the 4 PDFs.
Why not connect to them right on the web? Just.
Well, they were in some kind of FTP looking site. I don't know. Did you go where the downloads were?
I did, yeah, but I was.
Oh,
I was hoping
I
that
don't know.
it
That's
was
just
gonna work. But
that
cool.
would probably be a better way to do it because if it changes,
Yeah.
yeah. But
So yeah, show me the
that's
query editor. You do have
well,
the 4 files, I see.
I have. So the 4 files are sitting in a. The approach I was going to take to this because I'm not.
Hmm.
I started with the first PDF. I didn't go to a folder of PDFs.
Yeah.
I went to an individual file.
Got it.
Let
Yeah.
me go to the query editor here. So,
All right, so folks, just to recap, because we went back to the question, we're going back to Hector's question where he said, hey, I have some files sitting in, 4 PDF files sitting on some location, and he's not able to bring it in. And we think, here, Steve and I, so Steve is there to back me up, that this should be simple. This should be just connect to the files and just append. But, well, real
well,
data is always
here's
fun.
here's the interesting thing about the PDF that I've come across.
It's got
Is
multiple tables.
each page of the
Yeah.
PDF comes in as a different
Yeah, I
query.
see. Yeah, but what's in there? So what I want you to do is, so I want to just examine. So in the data column, do not click on the word table, but click next to that. Yep, yeah. So do not click on the word.
Yeah,
Yep, click next to that. So that should let you show. So and if you move that the lower
yeah.
pane bigger, so that doesn't look really good. I mean, let's click on the next one, see if that's cleaner somehow. Nope, that seems like the footer. So let's click on the next.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see what's going on here. So there's a page, and there's a table which is the footer. Page, table of the footer. Hey, all right, cool. Hey, Steve, is it okay if I try to take this one on?
Oh,
Let's see.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. All right, cool. So folks, let's. So this is
So
a good one. I think we're all gonna enjoy it. Thanks to Hector. So what I have is a new file over here. I'm going to save it first of all. By the way, if you need any of the files we create on Talk Power BI, or you want to go back through all these notes, they go back quite a bit, and just search through it. Hey, has anybody asked this question? Then just go to talkpowerbi.com, right? So that's going to give you access to the files. So here, let me see. Yep, we got it. So Talk Power BI, and we're going to say this one is 2019-04-26, asked by Hector, and we're talking about combining PDF. So if you've been here before, you've seen me, I think out loud when I'm doing it. And, well, if it feels odd, I don't know. I'm used to it by now. And oddly enough, I do the same even when I'm consulting with clients, and really when I'm teaching and all that stuff inside class, I do it. And I know when I started out, it was really scary and I would be hesitant. In fact, the very first project that I did was, this really big, one of the top media companies, and I was there in the room, and there were other consultants there too. And I think at one point somebody turned to our client and said, "How's it going?" So I was helping one client with a specific problem, and others were working on different tasks. And she said, "I don't know, Avi hasn't been talking to me." So that was me at the beginning. But of course, pretty soon we changed all that. And what I would do is I would project it on the screen. You would have the people in the room, the clients. And as I walked through it, I always spoke out loud, because our goal was, and I think should be every consultant's goal, that when you're consulting, you're also teaching. Because the right consultant, in my mind, doesn't want them to be dependent on you. This is about self-service BI, so we want to empower you. Cool. So I'm going to think out loud, and I'll admit I might not be able to do it, and hopefully he'll still run for the process. So first of all, what I'm thinking is that this has little to do with the files being online, and little to do with the fact that they're PDF files. They're just a little bit messy data, and this can happen in Excel as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, and I think we can just do it with 2 files. We don't really need 4 files. So and I'm hoping that I can connect directly to the file. So I copied the URL, and I'm just going to try it. If it works, great. If not, okay. So the URL looks clean. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm not really sure if it's going to detect PDF. I'm a little hesitant now. Maybe I should have said get. Is there an option? I think there's an option to get from PDF. And anyway, let's see what it does. Ooh. All right, it's flickering. It's doing something. Oh, okay. It brings it up like that. I'm not sure I like that. Yeah, let's go
Well,
back.
Avi,
Let's
that's
go
the
back and see
same way
PDF.
it came up when I did it from a file.
Really, I
Yeah.
want to. Maybe we can live with that. Let me see if there's an option to connect to PDF, and if it looks different. If it looks the same, we'll troop through that. So I'll just give the URL. Oh, that was a little weird. It said it was downloading. That wasn't good at all, because I wanted to connect to the live one. Okay, so I'm just going to hit table something and hit OK. But basically, I'm going to delete the step that it adds so that I can go back to the source. Cool. So we have this one, and I'm not seeing my steps yet, which is because query settings. Oh, that's a little weird. Okay, cool. It's still showing a little weird. Let's go back to it. Huh, that's I don't know. Okay, there we go. So this was, I'm going to rename it file 1. And I'm going to delete this navigation step, because I want to try to grab everything in the PDF, not just a specific element. So great. So now we're back to the source step, and we're looking at all of this. What I'm also going to do is open the PDF in here just so I can visually look at that. Cool, so I can see it visually. I mean, so I was hoping that this would come across as a table, but it's actually not coming across as a table. What it's coming across instead is, it comes across as, I can get the whole page, which has everything in there. But in the page 1, if I look at the table, it has this table, total possible points, which is only this one. And then if I look through, then there is, page 2, table 2, table 3, page 3, table 4. So sometimes, so the page 1 isn't looking that great because the table isn't the table that I want. It doesn't have that one. Let's look at the other ones. So page 2, this is just the whole page. That's okay. If I go to table 2, if I go to table 2, this one does seem to have, this is on page 2, BAC. Let's go back to this guy. How many it does have? Yeah. Okay, got it. Okay, got it. So I'm trying to match it up to what I see over here. Maybe just delete that. So 007931. Oh boy. So it's not really in order. So this, so far I like this one. Page 1, table 002, because that seems to match up with exactly this data set. So I like that one. Let's click through the other elements. This is a table. This is page 2. So now we're on page 2. This is page 2, and it's looking at this stuff. 60, 59. Got it. I'm not interested in that. But this is page 3, and I don't know how they come in out of order. So it goes, this is page 2, and this is page 2, but this is apparently page 3. But I want to ignore that. So I think, and this one is this table right there. So cool. I'm kind of seeing things. So 2542. So I think I know the ones that I'm interested in. I'm interested in some of these tables. So I'm interested in table 2, this guy, and then table 4, this guy, and then table 6, this guy. Okay, so what is Power BI modeling? I'm just gonna throw it out there. 948. Let's just see, and let's say 940. So, what is Power BI modeling? Anybody wants to take a shot? So I know there's a lag, but hey, if you have like a one-line answer, then type it in. But Power BI modeling, I don't think I could answer in one line, but it is a few different things. One of them is assumptions. Every model is built on a set of assumptions. Now, what makes you a powerful Power BI modeler is to just be aware of this fact. When you understand this, I didn't think about it that way. So I'll give you an example. So one of our students in the Learn Power BI program, I was talking to them on one of the calls, and they said, Avi, man, this is kind of hard. I don't think I'm doing it right. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? And they said, oh, well, my models keep breaking, and then I keep needing to fix them, and I don't think Power BI is supposed to be this way. So I asked them more of what was going on, and what I realized was simply the assumptions that they were building the model on were changing. So again, I mean, once you're aware of that, you immediately, instantly become a lot more powerful. But then how do you do it? So assumptions are changing. Well, for one, over time, you would become smarter at making assumptions, right? So let's just write that out. You would become smarter. You would start doing what's called defensive programming. I wouldn't go into that yet, but that's a really powerful technique. That, by the way, was also taught to me by the famous Greg Weber. So you start doing defensive programming, and then, but then sometimes you can't help it. So sometimes then you start making, actually what happens first is that instead of, every model has assumptions, but when you don't understand that that's how modeling works, a lot of assumptions are implicit, where you don't even realize it, and you definitely don't state it. So you go from there to explicit assumptions. And by the way, folks, I just figured this out, and of course that's why I love teaching, because I have learned so much about this process, about breaking down the art side of Power BI. And frankly, that's where I love venturing right now these days. We're like, frankly, in a way, the science is boring. I mean, yeah, DAX works this way. Once you figure it out, I mean, DAX is very mechanical. It's like step by step, always works this way, and it's like, oh, okay. I love the art piece, so it's like, oh, but so that's what I'm trying to tap in. So this is the good stuff. So and again, I never thought about it this way. So first thing you do is just, awareness is good, because that's going to drive you to make explicit assumptions. And there also, by the way, there are decision points. There is translation involved, and there is one other thing which I forget. Okay, 4 things. Anyway, so we'll focus on this, and I talked about that because we are at an assumption point. And again, so once you're aware of this concept, that makes you immediately smarter. So now, in this case, I could say that take wherever the table number is even, take that 2, 4, 6, and that would work here. But then again, that's where the next concept, I guess we do get to talk about it, defensive programming, comes in, where you say, but is that true all the time? Is that true all the time? And you ask it 2 ways. Right now, and will it always be true in the future? You see where we're going with this, right? I mean, this is really powerful stuff, right? So you say, is this true right now? If it's not true right now, then you can't go with that even now. But will it be true in the future? And this is where defensive programming comes in. So defensive programming is not about programming for the data set you're working with right now, but programming for a data set which you might get in the future. So you say, oh, well, it is like this right now, but what if it changes in the future? I don't have control over my client. I'm not sitting there with them, and I don't want to babysit them through this. I want this to be robust. So again, that's the next level. We may or may not do it this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just check one more file 2, and see if it follows the same pattern. So actually, you know what? This is good stuff, guys. So let's dive in. So let's say, so I have 2 options right now. One option is, so this is an assumption and a decision point. I have never encountered this before in the way I've never acknowledged this. So this one is a decision point as well as an assumption. We know we need to go with some assumption, but the decision point is, do we go with the even number tables? And that could still work, although we have to examine file 2, right? At least examine file 2, maybe all 4 of them, right? So, and say it's valid. That's one approach. And let's say we examine all 4 files and we say, yep, in every one of these 4 files, the even number tables are one we want, and we can proceed with that. But if you're doing defensive programming, you would say, oh my God, what if it changes in the future? So I'm going to throw it out there, and I know there's a lag, so I'll come back and look at your chat comments. But if you, so if you couldn't rely on the even numbering, how would you do it? Well, I think one approach that I can think of is, then you would have to examine the content inside the table. So I'm like, I can't really go with the name. It could be table 2, table 1, table 5. I don't really know. Who knows? Nobody knows. It could be one of these garbage tables, this one, right? I don't want the garbage table, and I want this good looking table. Then of course you just go in and check each table. So in here, you're going to say, what is the column 1 value? If it's crappy like this, ignore it. I don't care. And I don't know, maybe you check for column 1's second value. If it says number, that's the one that I'm interested in. So that would be defensive programming. All right, cool. So so I'm just going to duplicate this one. And while I'm here, I'm also going to disable load, because I know that I'm not going to load individual files. By the way, when I say the query editor is the kitchen of Power BI, what does the kitchen have? If you think about it, the kitchen have lots of appliances, gadgets, which the query editor has right up top, right? So it's built for the clean shape transform. That's why I was trying to convince Prashant earlier. It's like, why wouldn't you do the clean shape transform in here, right? Why would you peel your potatoes on your dining table or your living room or your TV room, right? Then do it in the kitchen. So it has all the appliances, your knife set, and most importantly, it has the trash can. And this is the trash can. Where it's like, no, I need it here in processing, but I don't want it in my model. So you throw it away. And you can throw away columns after using them. You can throw away whole tables. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to go in here, File 2, just go to, oops, not that. Sorry, click the wrong button. Come back here, Query Settings, just change it to File 2. And then, folks, by the way, this is how I started on M. I was really scared of M because it felt like at the time that I had worked so hard to get some understanding of DAX, and then I'm like, oh no, not another language. I don't want it. Don't make me do it. But the trick is to just turn on the formula. Oops, did that work? Yeah, turn on the formula bar, and you're gonna get really familiar. Once you keep glancing, you're like, oh yeah, I know what it's doing, and then at some point you're gonna start messing with it. For example, I noticed that the dang thing did download it, whereas I didn't want it to download. I wanted it to connect it to the URL directly. I wonder if I can force it to do that by hacking around in the MM code here. So I'm going to change this to this one is PDF2. I don't know. Let's just see if it works. No, it didn't work. That's it is a challenge. Then again, remember initially I had made the assumption that the fact that the PDF and the fact that they're online isn't valid, but I guess it is. For now, let's just ignore that one. I am gonna do what Steve did and download the files. So sailing gas, and we'll just do 2 files. I think that's enough. So live calls, nope, not live calls. Go to Talk Power BI 2019, and what is that file? Save as. And we'll do a folder here. Right. PDF2 and we're going to save PDF1. Save link as PDF1. All right, we're in business here. So come on over here. PDF2. Nope, didn't want that. Getting there, folks. How do I grab? Perfect. That's what I wanted. Let's see. All right, we're in business. And I'll go back and change this to our folder as well. PDF1. So we got PDF1, we got PDF2, and again, right now, all I'm doing is I want to test if the even number tables are the good ones. So here, I'm looking at table 2, I'm expecting is a good one, so I'm going to check that. Yep, looks good. Table 4, yep, looks awesome. Table, what is that? Oh, that's page 4, and then there's table 6, and this one has table 8 as well. Yeah, which is still valid. So even number tables are good. All right, so let's again disable load for this one, and then we're gonna duplicate it again. So of course I didn't even realize. You see how you get like better and better at it just by mentioning assumptions to you guys. Now I'm more aware of that. So we had started off with making some assumptions. Let's just keep that. So the assumptions we made was PDF and internet location is a non-issue. Now, of course, that assumption didn't prove out to be right. So clearly, we had to take a workaround, and we're going to have to go back and solve it. That's another concept, by the way. And I don't think I've talked about it, but I didn't really understand it in that it fits with Power BI modeling. So what I often see people do is that they conflate all the problems. They're like, oh, I gotta solve this, and it's messy. And what differentiates a great modeler from a good modeler? That they're able to look at this mess and quarantine some stuff and say, no, that is that, and well, this one is this stuff, and then well, it's something else. I'm running out of colors here, but right. So they block things out. A classic example that I've gone through a few times is, and this might sound unbelievable. Frankly, when I realized what I was doing, I was stunned myself. Where we disconnected the data cleanup. Oh, I shouldn't write it there. We disconnected the data cleanup from data modeling. So the classic approach is I'm going to go to my data, clean, 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 clean. Oh, now it's ready, and now I'm going to go to data modeling. And I say BS to that, because who wants to wait? I don't want to wait. I never want to wait. I'm like, dude, let's go. And often, of course, when I'm consulting, I'm only there for like 1 or 3 days. So I can't wait for stuff to happen. And you don't need to. So you can make an assumption. So we actually did this for one of the real Power BI projects we're working on right now, where even the client was saying that, oh, you know what, guys, give us some time, and we're going to go back and clean up the data and then come back to you. And I said, don't do it on your own time. Do it later, and you can proceed with the data modeling even with messy data. So I won't go into more details there. Let's come back here. So we made an assumption which was false. And then, I didn't, let's do this. Oh, gosh. And then I had another assumption. Which I didn't call it out. So you see the difference between implicit and explicit assumptions. The assumption was a big one, number of files. Is it static or dynamic? I never thought. I thought in my head, but of course I thought in my head it was an implicit assumption. I was going with the static assumption, and that is not the only question, by the way, that you should be asking. You should be asking another one, which is, and that only in case of static. If static, how many? You see how our modeling gets influenced by these assumptions, and you can go up totally the wrong way if you're not at all aware. You're never going to be a great modeler. No, okay, I'm just messing with you. Hey, forward progress. All right, so you might see some of the stuff that I do, stuff that I talk about, like, oh my gosh, Avi, I'm never going to be there. Don't care about it. Just ignore all of it. All right, so if you're really starting out, just go back to my channel. Start with the tutorial, and you're going to be all set. Baby steps, my friend, right? So every model that I've built, now when I look back to the models that I built 3 years, 1 year, even 1 month ago, I go, why did I do it that way? So let's sit here for a second. So I had made this assumption. I had made that assumption that the number of files is static. And again, I never asked Hector. So of course, if it's dynamic, then we're kind of screwed. No, well, we'll save that for later. But even for static, imagine if Hector had only given us like a sample set, right? What if there were 1,000 files? What if there were 10,000 files? What if these files grew over time? Like there are 10 now, but yeah, they get added every day. Something like that. We don't know. So obviously this solution, this file 1, file 2, is not going to work for any of those. I don't want anybody to make this 1,000 copies. So again, I'm not going to go change my assumption, but so I'm just going to call it out that my assumption is that it's static and the number is small, right? So we have a small number, right? So small number. I don't know. Let's intend something like that. Okay, cool. So we're going with this, and so file 1, I'm going to change this, and I do need to do I need to? Let's just download all the files. Why not? It's a small set. So let's go back here, go back to PDF. And we're going to say save link as PDF3. Oh boy, now that I'm thinking about it, there are lots and lots of assumptions. Like, and again, we make these all the time, but don't think about them. And I think that's the difference between good to great. So I'm thinking about the assumption that is this folder always going to have only the PDF files we need? Again, it might seem silly, but how can you make that assumption? I mean, what if that assumption changes in the future? Imagine somebody else writes a totally different PDF file. It's like, what are you talking about, man? That was a shared folder. Where am I supposed to put the files? And then your model breaks. So you see how assumptions play a role in modeling. So I'm going to call it out. Assumption that folder will only have the PDF files of this kind, the one we need. And again, oops, we didn't want to do that. Didn't want to squish me. Imagine if this wasn't true. If this wasn't true, then what? So if not, then what question would I ask? Is like, hey, how can I detect the files that I need? If not, how can I detect the files that I need? Hey, if you haven't realized this already, this question definitely gets a gold star. So if you've been on the channel before, gold star has very high requirements. Not really, but it's got 3 key requirements, which is it should be a real business scenario. So hypothetical, keep it away from me, right? So I don't care. So this is clearly Hector is trying to solve something in his business. Now he has given us sample data, but it's I can see just the way he asked and all this, and the sample data that it's something real. So that's the number 1 requirement. And the second and third are that it seems kind of simple, but it isn't. So it seems so simple that I didn't even dive in, and we're here only thanks to Steve doing this deep dive. Hopefully you're enjoying it. So yeah, it seemed really simple. I brushed it aside, and here we are. I don't know how many minutes into it, 20 minutes into it. All right, so cool. So if the folder, we made this assumption, but if that wasn't true, the client said that no, that's it can have any kind of files. Then how do and usually I try to do by file name pattern, and often if they say no, you can't, then I say please can you follow a naming convention, because otherwise it gets really hard, really hard. Well, not really hard, but yeah, I don't want to deal with it. All right, cool. So we have file 3, and did I download all the 4 files? I'm not sure I did. Let's just quickly do that. PDF. Oh, I can see here. Can I? PDF4, I did download. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna file 3. I'm gonna change. And again, just it talked about turning on the formula bar, and it just you start poking around in it, and that's your first step. And before you know it, you're having all sorts of fun in M. Copy. Oh, I could have just said, is there a duplicate? There is a duplicate. Okay, cool. So in here, I'm going to say file 4. And I'm going to click on this step and change this step as well. 4. Done. So I have 4 files, and I'm just going to quickly check file 3 just for my sake that even number tables are the ones we need. Yep, looks good. Table 3. Table 4 looks good. Table 6 looks awesome. File 4, table 2 looks good. Cool. All right. So now we're talking. Now we're really talking. Okay. Boy, another assumption. I'm getting good at this. The assumption is when I combine the file, do I need to know the source they're coming from? Files, do I need to retain the file name? I'm going to go with the assumption that we don't. Yeah, so we don't care about the file name. If we did, then I may do things differently. But for now, I'm just gonna append the whole thing. So append the whole thing. Append queries as new. And 3 or more tables, right? And I'll just say add all of them. Boop. File 3. Boop. File 4. Boop. That's the sound my daughter makes when she boops her dog on the nose. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that. The sound effects there. Top of the line. Okay, so this is combined files, PDF files. All right, so you see how assumptions are playing in, how assumptions are crucial in going forward. So we made an assumption that in all files, I can go with the even number table. So now I can just combine them and then do it. If that wasn't true, if in some files are like, no, for this file it's this, for this file it's that, I couldn't have done what I just did, because then I'll be lost. I'm like, oh, I don't know which one is which, right? So what we're going to do now is going to filter just to, first of all, I'm going to ignore the page. Who cares about the page when we got the tables going for us, baby? So I'm going to say filter down just to the table. So I'm going to ignore the page. And now I need to filter down just to the even numbered page, even numbered tables. So I don't care about the page number here. So for this, let's go to name and let's split it up. Yeah, let's do that. So you may be tempted to split it up by delimiter. Actually, we could do that, but let's try it. So split column by, I think I want to try number of characters, because it's the same format, table, number. So specify number character. Oh, actually now I'm lost. I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting something like how you do it in Excel, where you say, oh, this is not by delimiter, but the other option. Number of characters, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I give up. Let's try split by.
Did you just put 8?
Eight characters. Yeah. Now, of course. Oh, let's try something else. Is there something in transform where we can extract the text? Oh, this is what
Yes,
I really
there is.
need. So we'll say extract a range, and now we're talking. Because starting index is, I think it's 0 base, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number of characters is 3. So by the way, folks, I know initially when I was starting, I was really lost in the ribbon. I would keep clicking around. So I'll tell you the way I see the ribbon. First of all, when I'm working on columns, I think that, do I want to add a column or do I want to change something existing, right? So, and that makes it simple. So if I want to change like the existing column, I stay in the transform ribbon tab. If I want to add a column, I go over there. Now, what you would notice is that they're quite similar. So again, they're similar, but one transforms a current column and the other one adds a column. And then the next thing that I look for are these sections. Like, am I working with a text column, a number column, or date and time column? And the same way, if I'm adding a column, you would see it as from number, from date and time, and from text, right? So that's the way I zero in. So first, I decide whether I'm transforming existing column or add column, and then I think about that, oh, am I working with a text value, a number, or date? So again, I don't know, maybe it was just me, but earlier I was like, oh, what am I doing? I was just clicking around at random, and now I like zero in, and then I go into the text and then check out all the stuff that it has. So cool. So we got extracted the text range, and now we got to check for even number. What is the even number filter? Oh shoot, it's not. Let's change it to a number, whole number. I'll be zapped if it's like built in. That'll be crazy. Okay, it's not there. All right, cool. No worries. So what we're gonna do is, I'm thinking, do we transform it? I think we can still transform it, and we can say, so now, so again, so I decided to transform. That was our first decision, and then I know I'm working on the number column, so I'm looking at that, and I think I need like a mod of 2, modulo. Oh. Okay. Oh, the ribbon gives, my friend. Ribbon gives. Mod of 2, and okay. So now I only need the zeros. And in this case, maybe adding a column would have been nice, because I could have checked it right there visually. So depending on what you're doing, you can add a column. And again, the advantage, actually, let's go back and do that, just to give you the feel of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a column. So again, I changed my decision, so I'm going to add a column. So I start there, but then I say, what am I working with? I'm working with numbers, so I focus on this, and then I try to find the option. So in here, I found the modulo, and I'm going to do the same thing. And the only difference is it's not going to create a new column. So great. So, but again, now you see the advantage that I can visually see them side by side. And the biggest thing, we talked about the trash can, the Power BI is the kitchen of Power BI. No, Query Editor is the kitchen of Power BI. And the biggest thing it has is trash can. It has all these gadgets which you're seeing in action, but it has a trash can that once we're done with these columns, we just throw them away. We're going to throw all of them away and only keep the data. So yeah, you can have like more interim columns. It doesn't really cost you anything. All right, cool. So we're here, and now I'm going to say, so actually, I really like keeping this as a separate column because, again, so that's one advantage of, Query Editor doesn't get any better. I mean, you can see step by step how it changed. So when I click and say 0 only, I can, again, just kind of visually glance and say, yep, even numbers only, that I did it right. I didn't mess up the modulo. So now we're in business. So this is where the trash can comes in. I should save this file right now. I don't want to redo this later. Apply. Oh, shoot. I didn't want to apply. Sorry. We'll wait for it. I'll take a swig of water. All right. Oh, I guess I can cancel it. Okay, cancel. Save. Apply later. Apply later. Okay, I just want to save the definition. Okay, so that's good. So now the trash can comes in, and I don't need any of these columns. I just care about the data. Who cares about any of the other stuff? Now this time I'm a little bit hesitant. Like if I dive into the data, I just want to see again what I'm going to see. What am I getting into? Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I think I can handle that. We'll see. So remove other columns. Simple. Gone. Trash can. Peel the potatoes. Threw away the skin. Peel the banana. Threw away the banana peel. Right. So you don't need that. So we're good here. Let's save again. Apply later. Okay. I think we're ready. Click on what I call the action button. I don't know what the official name is, but I always say this is action. It lets you do something, and in this case, it's going to expand. And yeah, we're ready. You can hit OK. Okay. Boy, you see how close we are to the finish line? Oh gosh, we're in like kissing distance. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the first... interesting. Okay. We're going to remove the first row. Oops, it's in there. So remove rows, remove top row. So it's just null. Oh, this is really interesting. I love this one. So boy, this one is like, it's a gift. It keeps on giving. So this happens in Excel as well. Where you notice that the headers can be split across rows. And it's not like we need this row or that row. We may need both. For now, I'm going to go with the assumption that we can ignore the top row. So like we don't really need this in there. Now this is not valid all the time. This assumption isn't valid, and I'll tell you why. Because it's possible that, so I'm going to call it out here. So assumption is we can live with the headers in bottom row, right? Boy, this one has been really awesome. So, oops, I should have highlighted that. Hold on, guys. I'm going to go back to that, tweak it just a little bit. By the way, another best practice for modeling is, I don't know, I do that all the time. I think it's important. Extensive note-taking and pictures help. Highlighted pictures even better. And I use the tool that you just saw me use. It's called Jing, and I'm a fan of it. I'm a huge fan. So let's go back. So we had this. My whole team uses it. I shouldn't say highlighted, I should say annotated. Annotated. We even do videos. Sometimes I would be working on a complicated problem and I would solve it, but then I would record it because later you go scratch it, like, why the heck? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? So I just record it with, hey, Avi from the future. It's me from the past. You idiot. You don't get it, do you? Let me explain it to you. All right, so assumption about headers as emotion. And we're going to say this. And I often make my images really small, knowing that I can always kind of blow them up or zoom in if I need. Wow. So let's go back. So now why would this assumption be problematic? Now again, I think in this data set we're good, but imagine if we had a table like this. And can I group merge cells in Word? Oh, you can. Nice. Okay. So all right. So ready? Ready? Yeah. Let's just say, let's say, oh gosh. So batch A. Start, end. Batch B. Start, end. So sometimes it does happen, man, more times than I would care for, is that there is some information in the first row which you need to capture. Otherwise, if you just ignore this, then you're gonna have duplicate columns which you wouldn't know, like which one is which. And of course, query editor doesn't really allow duplicate columns. It's going to say start dot one. But if you've totally ignored this row, how would you construct which one is A or B? And it just becomes hard. So sometimes you need to counter that. We're going to ignore that for now, and just going to remove. So only. Oh yeah. So I should call assumption not headers. We only care about the second row of headers, so we can remove the first one. So with that assumption, we confidently move forward. Remove top rows. One, hit OK. And then, of course, our famous use first row as headers. Although I'm not liking this guy. Correct answer. It's got word wrapping in there. I have no idea what it's going to do. I guess it cleaned it up. It's not like wrapping. Oh, you notice here, it does have the line feed, but I'm going to ignore that now. I have no idea how that's going to play out when I load it in the model. No fun. There are other techniques. Your headers can be extremely messy and useless. You can still conquer any data you want. You can counter that, but we won't go there yet. So we got our headers, but of course our headers repeat here. But that's so easy to clean up. Oh my gosh, that's like so easy. So we're gonna say in here, I don't want the null, and let's see if it shows the number thing. Number it does, and I don't want the number. And when I do things like that, I always check the M syntax it created just to make sure that it looks right. Sometimes it does like really funky stuff. So I think this time it's going to do the right thing, but sometimes if you don't have that many values, if you unselect two of them, instead of saying this is not null, what it does is, oh, give me the rows where it's 1, 10, and 11. And I'm like, no, don't do that. That's not what I told you to do. But, sometimes it does that. So again, and that's where, guys, turn on the formula bar. So again, I noticed that, yep, it did the right thing. It said number is not null, and it's not this. Great. So data is clean. And I think we're home. I think we're done. There's some weird word wrapping in here, which I would like to clean up. Maybe remove the line feed. Let's see if actually we can do that. I've never tried that. So you notice how these things have like the same thing that we had in our header, which was where is it? Remove top rows, promoted headers, change type. Oh yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the automatic change type. We might fix that separately. But there was this hash LF. So this is new, guys. I'm learning this myself. So for now, let's ignore the header, but I'm seeing it appear in here. So like where there's a line feed, and obviously if it shows like this here, it's going to show like that in the reports. So let me see if I can clean it up. Again, never tried it, so I'm gonna again. So I start from the top. So I want to transform this existing column. I don't want to add, so I'm transform, and then this is a text column, so I'm going to focus on there. So focus on there, and I'm looking for something like replace, extract, parse. Okay, that didn't help. I'm a little lost now. Steve, do you see the replace? Okay, got it. So any columns. So replacing do for any columns. I got it. So I'm gonna use this code. And again, I've never tried it. We'll see if it works. So replace with a space. Let's try that. And hit OK. And it was nope, it didn't do it. Okay, cool. Hey, nice try. I would love to find out a way to clean that data up. Dang it, it definitely has a line feed, but all right. So let's ignore that. I'll call it a victory. So I think we're good. We have combined the files. So as long as our assumptions hold, as long as we have a static number of file, just these 4 files, the number doesn't grow, then yeah, you can hit an update. Whew, what a ride, guys. See, that was gold star. Definitely gold star. All right, Steve, what do you think? Quite an adventure, right?
I think. Yeah, that was quite interesting.
Yeah, I don't think either of us expected
it's
that.
Not. You went down a path that's much preferred to what I was doing. So I did learn a little something there.
Great, awesome. Always aim to please, my friend. Okay.
There is a comment about getting rid of that line feed from Danny Dennison. Maybe the clean text.
Nice.
That might be worth a try.
Let's try that. And I'm always a little bit hesitant just going in and typing the text code, the M code. Can I? Is there? I wonder if it's in the text extract split format clean. Thank you. I'm glad for that. Let's see if that works. So text.clean. Yep, it's using the function. And look, yeah, so close. I mean, it's not putting the space. It just removes it. I don't know. I would have. Oh well, these ones don't have space either, so I can live with it. But that, I'm sure you can do some M code to put it on the same line, also with this space. But that's good. So Danny, thanks for that, and I'm glad I found it in the ribbon. Cool. Oh gosh, it's 10:30, which is a little early for a Talk Power BI call. We usually stay here for 2 to 3 hours, but I'm feeling like, you gotta leave when you're winning. But no, we're gonna stay here if you have more questions. So so Prashant said he sends me an email. Okay, I'll check for that. Steve, anything interesting? Maybe any quick ones that you saw?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'll say, guys, is don't shoot the messenger, right? This has nothing to do with PDF file. You show me a business which has clean data, and I don't know, I'll give you $1 million, right? So any place you go to, this has nothing, zero to do with PDF. I've seen my fair share of everything, anything you can imagine. And this messy data often comes from these enterprise systems, which are supposed to be all clean and nice, and you've paid millions, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars for that. Hey, that's the nature of business, my friends. Let's just admit that. And that's just the knowledge, just that acknowledgement would help you move on. Instead of, you were talking about black boxing earlier, you can spend all your life doing data cleanup, or you can build something that matters. You can make an impact on the business right freaking now. So not wait for that mythical moment when the data is clean. So this is not PDF. This is life. Deal with it. All right. All right, Steve. So did you have?
Well,
Something interesting?
there's one that's really quick. I think just how do you put a slicer in a dashboard? That's from Ali.
Yeah, so the only way I know how to do that is to pin the live page. Maybe we'll check that out really quick. Unless that functionality has changed, they have introduced something new. That's the only one. Steve, what do you think? I mean,
Yeah.
that's about all I can think of.
And then another quick, probably a quick one. We looked a little bit about conditionally formatting based on a numeric value, but how about for a text value, string value?
Yeah,
I
that is
guess
an interesting one. I like that one. I like that one. That may take us somewhere. I just want to see. Oh yeah, there we go. Dashboard deal pinned page. I hope I have some slicers here. Oh well, it's an empty dashboard. Okay, not fun. But basically, if you go to a page, I'm trying to see a report page which has slicers. What's with these reports? Okay, not a great example, but yeah. So whoever was asking, look for mm, pin the whole page. Just check that out, and that would get you slices on the dashboard. I'll call out that it comes with a trade-off. Okay, let's see if this has slicers. Okay, it doesn't, but you see the option right there, pin live page. It is going to pin the whole page there. The trade-off is that it doesn't display as well on mobile. So if you don't care about mobile, doesn't matter. Right, go right ahead. It's going to look fine on the desktop. But if you do care about mobile, then as opposed to when you pin tiles, when you pin a live page, it just looks a little off. Okay, cool. So Steve, remind me, what was the question that I said that I liked? What the
can you conditionally format a column based
nice.
on text value?
Okay. Who was asking that?
It is Mahindra
All right.
Bisram.
Nice. Okay. Conditional formatting using text values. Okay, let's see what we can do. Let's try this page, and we're gonna make the size a little bit bigger. And instead of this, I'm gonna use maybe subcategory, or maybe let's use countries. What I'm not sure, and I don't know if you, Steve, you got the sense from the question, is the person looking to like, oh, if the text says this, then it's red. If it's a different color.
That's what I would assume
Yeah.
if it contains a certain string or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I have a feeling though that they have a measure here, something like this, where they have not like, I don't know, like some kind of a level, right? And it says, oh, this one is high, and this one is medium, and this one is low.
Yeah, that may be it.
Yeah,
That
let's go with that. So, folks, we're gonna call that an audible here, make an assumption, go with that. So let's see if we can do something like that. What if we bring in the variance percentage? Let's see if it was like, that's not fun. Let's try filtering it by year. I'm just trying to see where some numbers are kind of positive, some numbers are negative, and we can do something with that. Page filter. 2016. Wow. Let's try. Man, what's I don't understand. There's something that I think that model isn't working. Oh, wow. How did that happen? Oh yeah, of course. We don't do budget by countries. Silly me. Okay, so ignore country. We're gonna do it by subcategory. Or product color or something like that. Maybe we manufacture each color in a different country. Okay, cool. So oh man, AdventureWorks. Let's try a subcategory. Ah, finally. So I'm seeing negatives, a lot of negatives. There's some positives. But what if we define a text measure and we say variance level or something like that? So let's just do a new measure and we'll say variance. Oh, is it working? Yep. Variance level, and let's do, so instead of if then else, let's try switch, and it's just a cleaner form of if then else. So if switch true, and then we'll say if variance percentage is less than 0, then bad. Oops. Then bad, else good. Let's just go with that. Oh, I have okay, we got that. Let's add variance level. Nope, didn't what happened? Hold on. Variance level. So now the question is, can we color this? I'm going to save this file before we go forward. So let's go to Talk Power BI 2019. And this one was Mahindra. Alright, so now let's try. So if you say conditional formatting, let's use font color. And I want to say not color scales. I think this is just rules. Field value. Can I just say variance level? Oh, no, sorry. Field value, that field value has to give like that. I think the hex code of the color itself. So we don't want that. So rules based on field. Okay, got it. Ah, interesting. So it doesn't let me actually select the text column itself. So that could be problematic. But I have another, you can have a numeric version of that. So whatever you're saying, good, bad, medium, high, low, doesn't matter. You can have like 5 of these. But I think you would need to have a numeric version of that. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, because it doesn't let me select it based on a text field. But the end result is going to be the same. So now you can say variance is, oh, wait, why isn't there less than? Is greater than, if it's greater than equal to 0. Oh, I see. So it's greater than, I actually don't know how to do this. So I want it to be greater than, I don't know what to say here. See if you think of something. Do I leave it blank?
Is there if you change that field that currently says less than, will your options change in the first box?
No, it doesn't seem to. It's greater than this. I'm just going to leave it blank, see what that does. And if it's greater than whatever, is less than 0, then red. Otherwise, if it's greater than equal to 0 and...
Or can you put a negative number in there?
Yeah, can I? Gosh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a dirty trick. I've done this sometimes where I put like a really big and large number, but not... I'm feeling that there has to be something better. So I'll take the Power BI version of green. It's probably not green. And let's see how it works. Cool. So yeah, and of course you can choose the, so we were able to do it. What did we learn though? I definitely learned something, is that it's possible, but you must have essentially an equivalent numeric measure, because the dialog box would not let you select basically a text measure. So the measure is returning a text box. Now, while I'm here, let's take a quick screenshot of that font color. Okay, we got this. Text measure is grayed out. Noise. My son says that. All right. Hey, that was a good one. We'll see what Mahendra thinks. Sometimes like, no, Avi, you went on a totally wrong tangent. That's not what I was asking. All right, cool. Let's see, what do we have? Tsetsa, I want to check in with you. Have you? I'm not sure if I've seen you on Talk Power BI before, so thank you for joining. See if you can unmute yourself, and I would love to talk to you a little bit if you want. So yeah, just check in with me. Oh, there we go. I think I can hear you now.
Yeah, I just unmuted my microphone.
Sweet.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Avi.
Hi there.
Yes, this is my first time.
Awesome.
Yes, I was able to join, and it's an interesting. It's an interesting event.
Well, for one, you never know what you're in for. You're right. So we are trying to change that a little bit, and I mentioned that in announcements earlier, that we want to formalize the way we pre-submitted questions. So of course you're part of the Learn Power BI program, so we have a whole structure there, and we have events which we run just for students. Join those too if you haven't already.
Mm-hmm.
Try those out. The way I see it is that when we look at kind of what Hector was struggling with, and we see so many examples of this, and what I've seen is that like the real Power BI, once you start applying it, you do hit roadblocks. I think we should just kind of acknowledge that. And that part, I know it frustrated me, took me a long time to get over that. And of course, when I look at my students, sometimes it frustrates them to the point where they even give up. And of course, a red flag in my mind is when I start hearing things from people like, oh, this was so much easier in Excel. And I'm like, no. Right? But, that can happen. But that's why, of course, we go live and we do these events, because we don't want you to slow down, right? And those roadblocks can be these, just brings you to a dead stop. And like, oh, shoot, unless I can figure it out. And I've heard people who have been like, we solved the problem for somebody who said, I've been struggling with that for a year. So of course we don't want that, and that's why we do these events. So why don't you tell me a bit about yourself and maybe a bit about your Power BI journey? Would love to hear that.
I'm not a fan of talking about myself, but
okay.
So my role per se is not technical,
okay.
But I do work. I am a central point, so I'm responsible for finance and administration.
Yeah.
At a higher education institution.
Very cool.
Yeah, right. I do work with data.
Yeah.
So pretty much every imaginable system and in every format.
Yeah. So
my struggle.
Yeah.
My struggle has been. Again, my struggle. I really like Power BI. My struggle has been to put together the data for a model. I mean, in effect, in order for me to create a P&L, I actually need data from various student systems, various financial aid systems, various accounting systems, various, payroll systems, and so on and so forth. And so the struggle has been to define the reports that are in a shape suitable to include in a model, because the reports so far I have designed, I have requested, or they have been using are designed to be used just straight up.
By humans, right? I call them the human-friendly stuff, so human can read it. I see it.
My latest, so this is my struggle, right? So this is where I am. I mean, I do not have the straightforward transaction data. So my transaction data varies like there is no tomorrow, depending on the system. So part of the struggle has been to create the unique identifiers that can identify the various transactions, that then they can be put together with the various dimension tables.
Got it. So
if I'm making sense,
Oh, absolutely. Oh, believe me, I think they're like nodding heads all over the world. And folks, if you're watching, and if there's like, yes, Tetsa, you've all been there. So I think it's a classic thing, and I've seen so many companies kind of face the same way, where they have these systems and in a way, the data is locked away. It's like your own data, but you can't access it. Either sometimes the system doesn't almost allow it, or makes it really hard. Sometimes they charge you extra for it, which I'm like, what? Seriously? Right? It's my data. You're storing it. Just give it to me. Or sometimes there are artificial barriers, which are nothing to do with the system. They are built by people. So they build the wall, and sometimes the IT group or whatever the central group is, they're like the door monitors. Like, wait, no, you need a pass to get in, sir. Wait, no, you're not getting that data. No, well, go to the back of the queue or something like that, right? So, and of course,
all of the above.
Great. So I exaggerated a bit, but sometimes it's much worse than that. Sometimes, so in our training we used to do. Both Rob and I shared this statistic which we had heard somewhere, which is that on an average, if you go request an IT to add a column to a report, it takes 6 weeks. And I remember sharing that in a class, and the person said, try 6 months. So clearly, average can be misleading, right? I mean, because average doesn't mean it's your experience. So the outliers can be really far. So it's 6 months. So anyway, so we're not going to worry about that. So I really believe in Power BI. You should fully feel empowered. Now, you're exploring it the right way. I just want to call that out. So again, pat yourself on the back. Kudos to you. And we all need to get better at that. Because if I may guess, I'm just going out on a limb and say that you feel in a way that, I don't know, some version of that, like I'm not good enough yet. I'm still learning. I should have been further along. Do you have any of those feelings at any time about Power BI? Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So now the challenge is that those are the feelings that keep us away from becoming good at it. It's kind of backward. So if we keep feeling that way, we keep waiting for something, and rather than kind of diving and moving forward. But if you remove those feelings, then you actually end up doing those things which make you better. All right. Put that aside.
Yeah.
So I think
I can tell you that I'm fighting with it.
Well, but again, that's why one way to help with those feelings is just stop and really acknowledge how far you've come. And I'm sure there would be lots of people out there who look at you and go, "Whoa, that's so cool," right? I mean, but we discount all of that, and I'm not immune to that. I do that as well. Sometimes I do something and I see the student's reaction and they go, "Whoa!" I'm like, "Oh, was that good?" So we all do that. So I can see that definitely from the rank beginner that you're a few steps ahead, because the way you're thinking about the challenge is exactly right. That's exactly how I would think about it too. So I would say, hey, either I can go to the data czars or whoever controls it and ask them, it's like, hey guys, just how can I get the transaction tables? And it seems you're already, exploring that, even if that's not a possibility yet. So, and that would, of course, solve things. I mean, it may take time or whatever, red tape, but if you get that transaction table, it's like, whew, I'm home, right? I'm good. So that's one option. And again, you're thinking exactly the way I would think. Or you say, hey, I dive in and I clean up these human-friendly reports. I mean, they're clean for humans, messy for Power BI. So yeah, for a lot of reports, that can be a challenge. The one thing that's coming to my mind is that, like, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. I'm a huge believer in that. Is that Power BI, instead of trying to take on a big project, it just try to do one corner. Now, of course, the art is in selecting which corner, but if it feels too big, if it feels too overwhelming, you probably do need to scope down. And that's one thing that I did call out when we were talking about modeling. And actually, I didn't call out. It was scoping.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, I agree with that. I do believe that my initial plan was just way too big.
Yes.
And this is where I am right now, just trying to narrow down an area that is kind of self-contained.
Cool, but again, I mean, kudos to you. I mean, you see how you've taken these steps in your journey, which you may not even acknowledge, right? Just to have that understanding. I mean, you kind of did the hard way, right? Or you probably tried something big, but that's great. That's really valuable. It's going to help you from this point on, right? It's something which you would never try again. So it's big. You may not realize that yet. But I can see
I do have a question which I prepared given my fake data. It's not fake data, but what I want to do is I want to submit it ahead of time with that opportunity now, because it requires some explanation. And what I wanted to do, so there is a new system implemented for part of our operations. And of course, the data in the new system and the way the data are classified and categorized do not map cleanly into the data from the old system. So, of course, the reports and the reports, in addition to that, are different. So what you can imagine is there is a different format, like a pivot table format for the old data with different categories. And then there is a new format, which is it does not map easily into the new category. So different formats and different type of categories that I would love to. So I attempted to do that. I started doing it through Power Query, but I could not automate it. Meaning, if I add new files like periodically every week, let's say, I could not automate that change. So I was able to take it several steps, but I could not automate that particular function, so that it would then be a proper model. Once I introduce the old data reports, the new data reports, I create the mapping of the categories. I want to be able to then just add the files. And then update, right?
So are you working on sample files, or do you have some sample files which we can look at? We can actually see the problem. If you're not there yet, then that's okay. We can come back to it, because obviously this is complicated enough that I would need to see it. So either you can share your screen, or send a sample file. And if you're not ready to do that now, we can do that on a later call for sure.
I prefer to send you the sample files, so this way I can outline the narrative, and then we can
I will say
tackle it that way.
So I mean, the way it works for me is I'm usually only able to connect on one of the calls. So if you go to the live calendar ones, let me see what's coming up next. So if you look at month, so we should update that. So May 3rd is a special presentation. I can stay back after that and cover your question. So May 3rd is really the real Power BI project finale. But May 3rd, so that should last for like 9 to 10 a.m., maybe 10:30, right? So 1.5 hours. After that, I'll stay on, and if you're on, we'll take your question. Otherwise, with the class.
So in the meantime,
work on the file, and definitely post it in a group. And who knows? I mean, there are lots of.
All right. So how can I submit the files?
Oh, that's
What's the best way
easy.
for me to submit the files?
Yeah, you have so if you were submitting it online, what I generally do is I put it up on OneDrive or Dropbox or G Drive and share via a link. That's one way to do it.
Okay.
And you've joined a Facebook group?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, if you do join
No,
that,
I mean, I have seen. Yeah,
yeah,
no, I have
that's
seen. Let me see. So, the
yeah.
Facebook group, yes,
Oh,
I've joined
perfect.
that.
Yeah, so Learn Power BI is for students only. Yep, and there's a file section, and you can just upload that
Okay.
there as well.
Okay.
I mean, and yeah,
Okay.
or OneDrive, Dropbox, either of those works.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, if you ask in the group, and uh, maybe it gets answered, that's great, awesome. Maybe you get some ideas to help you move along, and you solve it.
Sure.
Or if it doesn't work, then I'll show you the trick. What you can do is on any of these, you can click on the timestamp and get a direct link to that message. So you can kind of click on that on your own message and just grab that URL and then bring that up in any of the other
Okay.
calls that I talked about. So either you join us on later on May 3rd in the Q&A, so it's like maybe at 10:30, or on the 9th call, and then just put the link there. It's like, hey, Avi, yep, go look at that, and then I can review that. Awesome, great. But
Okay, thank
yeah,
you.
I think you're doing all the right things. That's great. You've already scoped down. Yeah, I mean, really quickly for scoping down, I think that selecting the corner. What I usually say is I look for something that was kind of the cost benefit, right? So basically, I look for something. Actually, the way I look at it is something that was hard in the old world, but really easy in the new world. I love taking those on, and is impactful in the sense that people would notice that. Like if I solve that, people would say, "Whoa, you did that?" I'm like, "Yep." And there's so many examples of this. Like one that comes to mind is, of course, if you're dealing with like millions of rows. Like, oh, people usually think you can't do that in Excel. So if you do that with Power BI, it's like, oh, yeah, this is 100 million rows. But again, there's so many examples. Time intelligence, that's another one of my favorite ones. Really hard to do in the old world, really easy to do in the new world, and so on. So you select one corner, and again, generally, I usually scope down, at least for the initial project. Like I would start off with the initial idea, and again, teaching this stuff has really helped me. So I'll mention two real Power BI projects. The first one that we did with Kimberly Marie, and hairdresser, a business coach, had some data. And when we had the first meeting with her, somebody commented that, hey, this will be done in 3 hours. And I agreed with them. And I was kind of disappointed because this was supposed to be a month-long project. What ended up happening was we worked on it for a month, and the initial 5 things that I set out we would do, which we all thought that will be done in 3 hours, I had to remove one key element from there and said, sorry, it's not gonna happen. And then we did it again with the one that real Power BI project we're working on with with Peter and Frank, and Macari is our client. They got a freight company in Africa. And yeah, we start off with a lot of ideas, and right now we're in the process of like, nope, all great ideas, but let's scope down. So yeah, don't be afraid to do that. You can still produce something really, really awesome. And yeah, cool. So I know I'm going to hear more from you, not just about the problem you're facing, but also the wins that are going to come along the way. And certainly, stop and smell the roses, stop and acknowledge yourself for taking those steps, acknowledge any wins that come along your way, big or small. All right?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Right, cool. Awesome. That was great. All right, cool. Let's see. All right, Steve, anything interesting on the chat board?
Well, yes. One that I think I'm hearing feedback that you've addressed before are rolling totals, and I suggested looking at the ultimate calendar table with offsets.
Okay, so Mark is asking that. Is rolling previous 12 months. Okay, yeah, let's take that one on. Yeah, that should be kind of really easy. And folks, I think we'll make this the last one today. And I might even cheat for this one because I think this one is covered in the course. So rolling totals. I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go, where's the table of contents?
Hello and welcome to the Learn.
Okay. I shouldn't do any autoplay videos. Course contents. Okay, great. Ooh, this is a little dated. Anyway, let's try it. Okay, let's try the PDF. Okay. Rolling, yes, 4.13 rolling averages. So we can jump to that. And hey, I know. So if you're the Mark that I know, then you're in the course. But I know folks, students watch on this all the time. Tsetsa, I also wanted to mention before I forget that you mentioned higher education. There are two folks in there, Loretta Sue. She's based in Florida, and she's at a college, university. I'm not really. And there's another lady whose name I forget, but she works with the Elizabeth School District in New Jersey. Those might be good connections to, seek them out in the Facebook group. Well, for this one, you might just have to ask, hey, who's here? Who here works at the Elizabeth School District? And hopefully those connect. So learn probably have 4.13. I was going to jump to that, and 4.13 rolling averages. And I'm going to mute it. And let's see. So rolling averages, what they do is they smooth out the graph. I hope that's what I'm talking about in the video. Wow, what am I talking about? I have no idea. So you can see there's a lot of kind of variations. And they take seasonality out. So rolling, oh, okay, I'm doing 30 days. Cool. Let's go back. Oh, perfect. Yeah, this is a perfect screenshot. So what I have here is the blue line, the jaggedy line is just going up and down, up and down. So it shows you a lot of variation. So rolling averages often are used in stock markets and things. There's a lot of variability, and you want to smooth it out, because otherwise, if you only had the blue line, then your eye inevitably goes to these ones, and we don't want that. We want people to see and understand the overall trend. And the bigger time span you go, the smoother the graph gets. And of course, if you go 12-month averages, what that does is it takes out the seasonality. What I mean by that is, if you look at a shorter time span, a month, 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, 8 months, whatever, what's going to happen is, if your business is like retail, where Christmas is big, December is big, or any kind of seasonality like that, then if you just look at 8 months, if it had that big month or not, then it's going to make all the difference. If it didn't, then it's going to look very bad. If it did, it's going to look very good. So it's not fair. So 12 months just irons it all out. Right? Nope. 12 months. So whatever, if you're high in June, it always is going to have a June. So we have different time frames here, 30 days and 90 days. And you can see the 30-day line smooths it out a little bit, right? But you can see that it's still a little jaggedy. And again, you decide how much smoothing do you want. And if we go longer, 90 days, you can see that's almost, not quite, but it's a lot smoother. So that's what rolling averages do. And let's see. So I'm just going to, do I have rolling averages? Rolling averages. Yep, I'm definitely going to cheat and just paste that for you guys there. Let's see. Hopefully that works. And this is, you can play God with this. You can do any rolling average with this pattern if you want. So basically you say, and I'm assuming you have a calendar table, you got to get one. And hey, if you're going to get one, why not get the ultimate calendar table? So of course this is inside the course as well, but on my channel, just go to, and all the good stuff if you're starting out with Power BI is at the top. Thanks to my team who arranged that. So ultimate calendar table is there. You can download it from there, all of that stuff. So get it from there. And then, let's look at the pattern. Actually, so Marco Russo, one of the Italians, he has, I think he's joking, or maybe he's serious. He said it's not a DAX measure unless you format it. There it is. So we'll format it. We'll follow his advice. Why not? So now we can look at this and say, so what it's saying is, so for any rolling thing, you can say, yep, calculate sales, and then dates in period, calendar date, max calendar date, all that. The only thing that changes is for your 12 months, what you're going to say is instead of minus 30, you're going to say minus 12. I'm going to go back 12 months, and day, instead of day, you're going to say month, and that's it. That's 12 months rolling average. And of course, so if you don't do the divide by 30, it's going to give you a rolling sum, which is usually not what you want to do. So you would divide this by 12, and this will be a rolling average, 12-month average. Why you don't do a sum is because that number, well, actually for rolling 12 months, it would be okay because it would be the annual number. But if you think about it, in this case, we had 30 day, 90 days. What does that number mean? I mean, people often don't have anything to compare it to, right? You can, so usually people are looking at a daily, they know that, oh, one day we make this much money, or they know that in 1 month we make this much money. So you can do both. You can do sum it up, and so not divide by 12 and just say, well, that's the 12-month rolling average, and that's for the annual. Or you can divide it, and what that does is that lets you do something really incredibly powerful, which I love doing. Love doing. So imagine you had a 12-month rolling average. So like, hey, all said and done, this is the average that we make, right? And that's, let's say, $100. Now you can overlay that on the actual performance. And you can visually see how far off are we from a given month, right? So imagine we know that December is a huge month all the time for us, and we know that the summer is a bad month, right? So we have let's say graphs like this and right? But when you do the rolling average, you get some inclination that, I don't know, I'm just going to draw an imaginary line that, oh, on average, this is our mark. So visually, you can see that, oh boy, December is really big, right? I mean, man, we hit it out of the park, or something like that. I don't really know what your data is going to show, but yeah. So that's why I love kind of the average, which now you can put the months on there and do that. All right, folks. Man, this was a pretty epic session. It feels like we're ending a little bit early, but I'll go walk my dog, I guess. So yeah, I'll see you next time, and I'll redo the announcements. Thank you to my team, to you guys. Talk Power BI. I promise you, the next time we run a Q&A session, we'll have pre-submit up and running. It really running, not the way we do it right now, which is paying lip service. May 3rd, which is next week. I'm looking forward to this. And again, guys, this is going to be raw and real. I haven't seen these presentations. It's not curated. And what they're doing is just sharing with you real, authentic Power BI experience. And that I wouldn't want anything less. Because here's the thing. You see these experts up there. I'm going to quote the experts. Who the heck is an expert, right? You're an expert if you can solve a business problem. If you can do sum or calculate, and the person who can't, they think you're an expert. So, but you see these people up on stage, maybe even me, and you go, whoa, that's cool. But who cares? I don't really care about that. I don't want you to go, whoa, bullshit. Who cares about that? What I want you to feel and know and believe is that F this, I got this, MF, right? I mean, I got this. I can do it. That's what I want you to feel. So yeah, it's going to be just real people going through real projects. It's not going to be this, oh yeah, we had this and we did this and look at how smart we are. No, this is going to be raw and real. So Friday, May 3rd, join us for that. And we're also kicking off our Power BI 5. How did I forget about that? So Wednesday, May 8th is the kickoff for our Power BI 5-day Power BI challenge, 5-day challenge, something like that. I don't know how to word it. 5-day challenge. I still have to work on it, but the idea is that this is going to be all new. And by the way, I should thank that one person who sent me the feedback, and they were very candid. They were polite, but they basically said, Avi, what the heck, mate? I mean, 5-day challenge. I got nothing out of this, and this wasn't valuable, and it was a waste of my time, and so forth. They didn't quite say it that way. They were nice, but yeah. So, and I go, whoa, that's not what the experience that I want them to have. So I'm working really hard to kind of redo it. And of course, I want all my students to participate. I want everybody to participate. It's going to be open to everybody, and it's going to be all new. And I think I can't remember the person in the name who submitted that feedback, but I think they're going to be hopefully a little bit pleased with Avi. Like, okay, Avi, I see you're trying, mate. That's good. And of course, we're also opening the enrollment to our Power BI course. So to Learn Power BI program, the Learn Power BI family. So we would be welcoming the new members if you choose to join us. So that's gonna go along with that. But again, the challenge is for everybody. I don't care if you do or do not want to join my course. That's still, I want to make this an epic experience. And that's it. All right, my friends. I'll see you later. Steve, thank you so much, mate. I'll see you later. Tetsa, take care.
All right, Avi. See you next time.
Yeah.
Okay.